And there's something so fascinating to me about what we like any kind of performance where it's like you have to have confidence in order to get good at it, but you can't get confidence unless you are good. It's like this thing of how do you build that?
I agree. I think through the years, especially when I was young, I just was so convinced that I could do this stuff even against all odds in terms of my body structure, my skill level at the time. I just was absolutely convinced, like, I can do that. I know I can do that. I got to figure it out. And
how old were you when you had that? Like, I know I can do that.
Probably about 12 is when I started to explore tricks that I knew hadn't really been done before. And I wanted to push that further, and I wanted to figure out how I could fly like the older guys. And and I started to kind of get ahead of myself with what I was doing, and it was way outside my skill level. And then I got a concussion. I knocked my front teeth out, and everything was like, yeah, you gotta take it a little slower.
And why? And do you after that? Because then my brain. I think this is the difference between the people that keep going and win and don't. Of like, well, I just knocked my teeth out, so what's the worst thing that can happen? I already knocked my teeth out. This is the perfect time to try that crazy thing. That's how my brain works.
I think I had a happy medium somewhere where it was like, yes, I want to keep doing this. Yeah. I mean, there was a line of distinction too, is when I woke up from the hospital and I knew everything was relatively okay. My first thought was, I'm not going to quit skating. And I think a lot of people, that's the reason they quit.
Interesting.
I tried to skate and then I broke my wrist and I was like, that's not for me. And that for me, it was like, oh, I learned a lesson in that I have to learn how to do rock and rolls better. That really was like, for me, that was the takeaway, is I got to learn how to clear my front trucks when I do rock and rolls, because if I don't clear them, I get knocked unconscious.
And what's the difference between somebody who takes the broken wrist as a lesson and someone who takes it as a stop sign?
Well, they go pro sometimes.
Yeah. And that's something that it could be nature, it could be nurture, it could be something we just...
I don't know what the psychology of it is. Yeah. I think it's more... I didn't mind getting hurt for the sake of progression. Never in my life. And so I was willing to take those hits. I didn't start skating because I thought, like, I want to get crazy and I don't care about my body. It was more along the way I thought, oh, I will get hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep doing it. And my parents were supportive, but at some point after my second concussion and my second time knocking out my teeth, my mom was like, maybe you should take it a little easy. And I was not hearing any of that. I think I also was lucky in that when I was in that mode and when I was getting injured, I was really young. And so it wasn't like I thought I was choosing a career path, or it wasn't like I was struggling to pay rent and I got to make this happen.
Because it hadn't really been a big career.
This is all I have. No, I wasn't even in high school yet. So for me, it was just like, this is the most fun that I've ever had. And I'm learning stuff that I never imagined I'd learn. I've met people that I think are fascinating and creative, and I identify with them because they're misfits and they don't belong in team sports. And so it was all of a sudden this whole new world was opened up to me. I was like, this is my place. I love this, and I'm going to chase it as far as I can. I just got very lucky in that when I was graduating high school, that's when I started to actually make decent money.